Now, before we get to the good stuff of me showing you video that I don't own, just video that I compiled to say and to illustrate that Timothy Bradley is the face of boxing, is TBE post Mayweather and Pacquiao, and why Timothy Bradley gives or doesn't get the credit he deserves, right? Why he doesn't have the fan base like of a Mayweather or Pacquiao, why he isn't talked, why people just write him off. On the one hand, I can understand why people dislike Bradley. You know what? As a matter of fact, I can't. I mean, it's not his fault that the judges gave him the victory over Manny Pacquiao in the first fight. This fight is important because that's how he became a household or he got recognition, right? He had always been in good fights versus Lamont Peterson, Kendall Holt, and a few others. But people didn't really know him until he got the opportunity against Manny Pacquiao. And in that fight, with a bum ankle, he still out-toughed Manny Pacquiao and outworked him. I believe he probably threw a little more punches. Didn't land the better punches. Manny should have won that fight. But nevertheless, it was a competitive fight. In real time, it was a competitive fight. If you slow motion it, like people like to make their case, probably Bradley didn't do all that great. And probably Manny landed fewer shots that looked eye-catchy because Timothy Bradley was moving very awkwardly and all over the place, which is why he hurt his ankles. Now, how the refs pulled that decision out of their ass to give it to Bradley, it appeared Bob Arum had different interests in mind. That being said, I need to get a few things off my chest and my mind. And one of the first things I want to say is boxing fans are too irrational. They're very emotional, right? We complain about controversial decisions and then come back and still watch more boxing, right? It's like if you were constantly going to a casino and you kept losing your money, right? Without ever winning and just keep losing your money. It wouldn't make any sense, right? You're just going there because you're an adrenaline junkie and you're hoping to God, to land, the big jackpot. It doesn't make sense. It's funny because as much as we like to bitch and moan about boxers like Broner and Floyd Mayweather for their shenanigans, how they're outspoken, we still watch them. We're still tuned in and watch. It's the funniest thing because put like this: we don't care about boxing and boxing integrity, right? Or else we would not allow this to constantly happen, right? So in fact, we like to bitch and moan because for many reasons. We as fans, we get the fights that we deserve. We criticize the loudmouths, yet they become so powerful in the sport of boxing that they get a big fan base because they're loudmouths, right? We don't really pay attention to the humble fighters, right? Unless it's like Manny Pacquiao. But here comes along Timothy Bradley, basically the same thing as Pacquiao. You'll find out what I mean by that. And we don't even support the guy. I mean, it's ridiculous that we don't support the guy. I mean, it's frustrating, man. The reason is this. We like it when the bullshit fighters or the loudmouths keep us entertained, right? Similar to why people even always constantly talk about the Kardashians when they make an example. In this case, I'm even talking about that. They motherfuckers don't contribute anything like worth of note to like the world we live in, right? And they even give lousy head, but people still stay tuned in to watch. The reason is because we like to see other people go through misery or even worse off than us, right? So we can compare ourselves, talk shit to them, and feel a little bit about ourselves, right? And our misfortune, and we giggle about it. Now that to me, that's some bullshit if that's really what it's all about. We like a couple of gossip. We're like a couple of gossip girls, in the little sewing circle, right? We like those chismes, man. We just like that, right? You still listening? Bullshit aside, Timothy Bradley is our modern day Rocky. He is TBE and he has beaten undefeated prime black and Latino fighters. He has ducked and dodged nobody. He's willing to face the best, as crazy as it may sound and maybe unrealistic, but I truly believe it. He's willing to fight Triple G at 160. The reasons why he wants to prove to himself and prove to the world how good he really is and how good he really can be and who the best is, right? In order to be the best, you have to fight the best. And really, you have to win. Bradley is a winner. He might just pull it off. But we don't stay and watch this guy. We don't support this guy. We want the loudmouths that stir up controversy because it gets us talking about shit, right? It doesn't have to be good shit. It gets us talking about shit, right? Where is the discipline in us fans, right? to boycott a fight, or boycott a few fights, so we can, tell these promoters, hey, we're not just gonna be watching and supporting the shit that you guys televise. We want to see the fights we want to make in the time of the prime fighters, not 5 years too late. Not when this one fighters are deteriorated. I want to see when Floyd is at his best athletic ability. I want to see when Manny is at his best mindset, right? And he's got his drive and all this shit. We want to see those moments. While some people say, well, that fight would have been as big as it is 5 years later. True, that's good from a financial aspect and from a boxing to keep it relevant in people's minds. But we would have seen a way better, tougher match, right? Because these people were more competitive. And that's the boxing fans that we should be like united and supportive of, and our stand in what we're trying to see. Not 5 years too late. I mean, come on, man. We have the people, the fans are the ones to blame here. We had to stay united. I mean, this is an everyday. I mean, this is boxing politics, but I mean, look at real life politics. It's very similar, right? We don't know how to agree to disagree, right? We have to. There's no compromise. No, we can't come down to common ground. We have to be separate distinction because, hey, that fuels our belly. Anyway, where's our discipline, right? We are the product of our own stupidity. We get the fights that we get because we deserve them. Rather than, showing our powers in numbers and our money and demand our voice amicably, right? Peacefully and forward. We ain't united, man. That being said, this is the fans' fault, right? From supporting the Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fights and whatnot. I mean, these guys, they both deserve it, right? We know what these both guys bring to the table. But I'm saying, in respects in this particular fight, it was 5 years too late. Floyd probably wins both fights, but we would have seen a way more competitive fight. And I thought that fight was very competitive, but didn't really live to his expectations, and possibly gave boxing a downfall, right? Not only to the fans, to the casual fans that are like, that was a boring ass match, but even to the hardcore dying fans that waited 5 years, that have been talking about this, that have kept this fight alive, right? I mean, it just failed everybody. Again, that is our fault. I mean, even look at the undercards, the mismatches, man. I forgot who Showtime was supporting and who HBO was supporting, Lomachenko and, or Leo Santa Cruz. I mean, those were bullshit fights. They were good, but it should have been better, man. It should have been better. I mean, again, this is the product of our own stupidity. We only stay tuned and watch the loudmouths and support them for better or for worse. Because, hey, maybe one day Floyd will show us a dick pic, right? If these other humble fighters like Timothy Bradley don't show us a dick pic or say stupid shit or are dancing or being court jesters, we ain't gonna support them, right? We just don't, right? We want to see that stupidity, like I aforementioned above. Again, now back to the modern day Rocky. Bullshit aside, now back onto the modern day Rocky. Bradley is TBE. He's in the most entertaining fights. He can fight. He can box. He's shown his versatility. Look what he done against Marquez. Just went to a barn burner. Probably had slurred speech going into the fight versus Marquez post Ruslan Provodnikov. And guess what? He outboxed Marquez. And Marquez is a hell of a fighter. He's my favorite fucking fighter. And he did a really good job. Marquez did really well, but he got rocked by Timothy Bradley in the last round. That was a stamp on the ground saying, dude, Timothy Bradley at this night was better. I would love a rematch, by the way, though. I want to see it. That being said, Bradley fights undefeated hung black and Latino fighters. Doesn't duck nobody. They're not simply young, hungry, strong Latino fighters. They're all over. It was early. He showed this early in his career. Just look at his boxing resume. I mean, it's evident there. He shows us how great he is, and he shows us how closer he's becoming and going into the Hall of Fame and becoming immortal. Just look at the Ruslan Provodnikov performance, the Jesse Vargas performance, the Diego Chavez. This guy dukes it out. He shows us his fucking balls and his grit and his will. I mean, you guys have to really pay attention, man. Man, are you guys listening? Really pay attention to what Timothy Bradley is all about, and you might learn a few things. Why he's the face of boxing, but nobody's even putting him up in that pedestal because y'all just don't know. Y'all don't know. That being said, why don't we support Tim Bradley or talk about him like Floyd or Broner? It's because, like I said, there's no controversy around him post the decisions that he's get from the judges, right? Look, he got the decision over Manny Pacquiao. People dropped him, right? People thought he's lost. Okay, that's reasonable. It's not reasonable now to support the guy. What has he ever done to you? Second, Ruslan Provodnikov. He came and showed us his monster that we created from all the critics and, outcasting him and stuff. And even then, while he did gain respect of people, people still wrote him off because they thought he lost. Again, what did he do for you? He just gave you memories and you guys ain't appreciating it, man. Man, what's going on? There's no controversy surrounding Timothy Bradley, right? Because he ain't about that life, right? Now, he is a humble man, a humble working his ass off man. He's not a boy like Broner. He doesn't do boyish things. He's a man, a standard to look upon, right? But since he doesn't show us nudes or dick pics or any of the bullshit flushy money down the toilet, he ain't entertaining, and we all about the entertaining, boss. We ain't about that real life sweaty, stinking like ass, sweaty balls and shit. What we already stunk and sweat when we're working, right? Now we want entertainment, right? We need that balance, correct? I mean, am I wrong here? That being said, man, I don't apologize for this rant. It's needed. All that aside, I'm about to show you the modern day Rocky and how he doesn't get respected.
This performance?
What's that?
Do you think Bradley deserves Mayweather with his performance?
No.
Hell no.
But considering what's on the table for Floyd, if there weren't promotional differences and you could just put him in with anyone, Bradley's more worthy than the other guys you're talking about.
Better than Floyd Mayweather?
I don't know. We have to see. We'll have to see if that fight ever happens.
So you're trying to make sure it doesn't happen?
Absolutely.
I'm motivated, man. I wish I could have been out of my training camp every single day. Nah, I'm highly motivated because I want that 5th world championship. I got 5 kids, and I want to be able to take a picture with that 5th world championship belt around my son. These guys, they gotta want to fight me. I mean, I keep saying I'll fight Triple G, but Triple G ain't called me yet. He put on his pants just like I put on my pants. You know what I'm saying? Man, listen, man. I'm not a coward. I don't care. They can say I'm crazy. You get knocked out, Tim. Well, knock me out. Knock me out. That's how I look at it. I'll fight him. If nobody else want to fight him, everybody starts stuttering when they mention Triple G. Would I fight him? Yeah, I'll fight him. Would you fight him at 160? Yeah, I'll fight him at 160.
I want to feel what it feels like to be in a fight with the best pound-for-pound fighter in the game. I want to feel his punching power. I want to feel his speed. I want to feel what every opponent that he's ever faced, I want to feel that pain.
And if
this is what I've worked for my whole life.
What if you find that punching power is real and that speed is phenomenal? What about that?
Bring it. Bring it on. I'm up for the challenge. Bring it on.
He doesn't intimidate me at all because I don't have to fight him. I think Manny Pacquiao wins a lot of fights because he's better prepared than others.
And how do you feel about Tim's?
I don't think there's anybody that trains as hard as this guy.
Manny will train harder than him, and that's why we'll win.
They don't know, man. They really don't know.
What don't they know about you? When you say they don't know, what don't they know?
Just they don't know where I come from. They don't know my background.
Predict the way that Bradley's head is and trying to catch him with a left.
And he's predicting it pretty well right now. Avoid the fucking pain. Ignore the pain in here. Okay? Forget about your fucking foot.
Seemed like he had that much of an effect, but I don't know whether Bradley hurt his twist.
Split decision. And new WBO welterweight champion of the world, the Desert Storm, Timothy
You hurt your foot, it seemed. Yeah. Here's the shot of what happened. Describe it to me.
I know I was stepping back. I think I stepped on his ankle. I'm not sure what happened. There it is, right there. There it is, right there.
Was this a pre-existing injury that you exacerbated?
No, not at all. Not at all. I was just trying to get out the way of Manny's punches.
It's that level of determination that's different from ordinary fighters, even from good fighters. And when he says, come break down this wall, part of that's physical. You look at the way he's put together and everything, but really that will to win and that refusal to give up on himself. Tim, I can always tell when it gets to a boiling point with you, because up here it starts to move because you're grinding your teeth. And you seem to do that every time someone talks about your determination or how hard you're working, like you stake your whole existence on that. What does that mean to you?
Man, I feel like going to work right now. Manny. I honestly do. I like Manny a lot. He's very humble, very respectful person. You know, in and outside of the ring, I think he's a great role model. So, I mean, that's what I see when I'm looking at him.
He's also about to make you a very rich man.
Well, of course, but, you know, that's not the key thing in this, man. The key thing is being number one. Bite down on my mouthpiece, grab a hold of my balls. Hey, let's go to work.
After the kind of fight you just had with Provodnikov, brutal fight.
Right.
First, how did you feel after that Provodnikov fight?
You know.
After 2 months, that's what happens to like stroke victims. 2 months until you get your speech back. And now and coming off of that kind of a brutal fight, you got to fight this guy after what he just did to Pacquiao. What do you think about that?
Can't hit what's not there.
Had something to prove against Provodnikov.
Oh, absolutely. I was in a very dark place at that time.
Because of the criticism after the Pacquiao fight.
Because of the criticism after the Pacquiao fight, I wanted to prove to the world that I am a true champion. A lot of people call me a fake champion, that I'm not a real champion, that I don't deserve the belt, you know, and I wanted to prove to the people that, hey, I am a real champion, that I can fight.
So how do you avoid falling into the traps that he's going to set as he's putting the pressure on you? Because this guy knows what he's doing.
Well, if it boils down to it, then we're going to be in the fight. You're going to have to carry me out on a stretcher in order for me to lose, man. If Marquez don't knock me out, he's not going to win the fight. He's not going to win. If he doesn't put me on the canvas a couple times and seriously hurt me, he will not beat me.
Why is that so important to you?
It's just my competitive nature. It's just something that I guess you're born with. You know, my dad possibly instilled it in me, but I just got a will, man. Unbelievable will. It's almost like a rooster. You ever seen a rooster fight?
Punishment you took in the Provodnikov fight. Do you remember what you told me?
No, I don't remember.
Well, it's because you're concussed, up.
Tim, what did you just tell me? About fighting with a what?
What did I say? I forgot.
Right, you told me you were concussed early in that fight.
Yeah. I think I got a concussion. I know I do, without a doubt.
What makes you say that? I mean, you're not, how do you know? Why would you say that?
Because I'm dizzy right now. I'm dizzy right now.
You said that you told him you created this monster.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
He did. There's no limits. There's no limits. There's no limitation to what you can do, or what you can endure. So I truly believe that. There's no limitations in what I can do.
You know, once he locks on, try to shake him loose.
Provodnikov giving as good as he gets in that exchange. First 30 seconds of the fight were mostly Bradley.
Watch the heads.
Provodnikov has gotten in a couple of good body shots and one big knock upstairs in the last 45 seconds. There's another left hook. There's Bradley's left hook, twice in a row. High-action fight.
Turned into a pit bull fight for real. Two pit bulls.
Well, Provodnikov has to have that in him, or else Freddie Roach wouldn't have used him as a sparring partner getting Pacquiao ready for Bradley.
That's exactly right.
Real good action.
Talk about an honest Herrera. A lot of ringsiders felt as though it was a bad decision and he won the fight. Provodnikov says, no, that's not true. Don't take credit away from Herrera. He outsmarted me and won it.
Right hand.
Big right hand by Provodnikov. And Bradley is not going to be charged with a knockdown. And even though he falls back his back while trying to get up. Pat Russell rules it. And once late against Holt, and he has been ripped by Probotnikov in the last 30 seconds of the first round.
I told you not to fucking get careless in there, man. Okay? Now, what did I tell you about the first and second round? First and second round. Okay, come on. Hey.
Hey, Tim. Hey,
I told you to box this fucking guy.
Bradley came out in that first round with something to prove, and it may have worked against him.
Little lateral foot movements keeping Bradley out of trouble here, but now he gets rocked again by right hand.
And he's hurt again.
He's trying to fight his way through it and taking another right hand and still standing up.
He got his own right hand.
Another right hand lands for Probotnikov. They are trading shots.
Bombs.
What a fight. Left hook lands for Probotnikov. Gets Bradley into the corner. Stalking. Bradley firing shots of his own.
He should be fighting straight up in that corner like that.
Oh!
Neither man is hard to find.
Probotnikov that's doing the hurting here. And Bradley at standing up straight, Roy.
Yeah, he's getting hurt because he's standing so straight up. I don't like to see him standing this straight up. He's really out on his feet right now. He's tough right now, trust me.
What a fight.
Both of these guys are hurt right now. Oh, there goes Bradley. Both fighters are badly hurt right now.
20 seconds left in the round. Can Probotnikov find the answer to getting Bradley off his feet? Bradley has no legs. Probotnikov misses twice. And he's going to make it out of the round. Out of 80, Probotnikov 38 out of 97. Probotnikov with a big edge in power shots. Now here comes Bradley as the third round begins. Now that Probotnikov is arm weary and isn't throwing, a clearly exhausted Ruslan Probotnikov. You're saying the second round is a 10-8, right, Max?
Well, Bradley was several moments away from being stopped. I mean, out on his feet.
Another right hand for Probotnikov. Probotnikov still doesn't seem in a position to pull the trigger here, as Bradley is beating him to the punch,
Sometimes fighting as a southpaw in the middle of the ring.
Probotnikov catches Bradley again. They trade right hands.
Probotnikov is a serious puncher when he does punch. Oh, good shot. Good body work.
Excellent body rally at the end of the round.
Inside the power a little bit, Roy, it looks like. And then on the outside, he keeps his distance.
And he's making Probotnikov keep his hands at home by throwing the small pity-pat punches.
Right hand lands again for Probotnikov.
Oh, good shot.
Real good hook to the body, and Probotnikov is hurt from that punch.
Hurt him
His
bad.
right elbow is now planted down there.
Wearing Probotnikov down.
It sure is.
When Evander Holyfield was in his prime, you hit him and hurt him, you'd see that mouthpiece come out, and that meant you were in trouble. and Tim Bradley is same kind of guy.
Won some fans here tonight, that's for sure. Body shots by Bradley. Probotnikov nails him upstairs.
Amazing fighter. Oh, big left hook
by Probotnikov. He got him again. Bradley almost went down. Somehow stayed up.
Whoa, stop.
Well, that was a left hook of a champion from Provodnikov. Knocked Bradley all the way across the ring.
What a moment. A right hand by Provodnikov.
Bradley better hold here.
30 seconds to go.
He better hold.
Bradley reaches out and grabs. His legs are almost gone.
One shot could put him down here and out.
Oh.
There's a right hand that lands again. One more time.
Better hold him.
Provodnikov is dead tired
The
though.
ropes keep Bradley up.
He might.
That's a knockdown. That is a knockdown. But the clock is going to bring an end to the fight.
If Bradley can get up and stay up.
Hey, come here. You all right? Let's go.
Unbelievable.
It's a Rocky movie. That was Rocky.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
It's a Rocky movie. That was Rocky.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
It's a Rocky movie. That was Rocky.
Wow.
Tim, what did you just tell me? About fighting with a what?
What did I say? I forgot. Because I'm dizzy right now. I'm dizzy right now.
You were throwing punches, it looked like. I thought you were out on your feet when you appear to be basically knocked out and yet you're punching back.
Well, the warrior instincts come in.
Oh, another right hand and another right hand.
You don't need to be trained like this.
Look at this. Look at this.
Provodnikov's trying to take his measure. I mean, whoa, what is Timothy Bradley made of?
Whoa, a left hook. Oh, he stretched him in the first round. Fireworks in Montreal. Now Bradley with a nice left hand. Oh, my.
Be moving around and running from anyone.
Good right hook.
So that
by
means
Devin Alexander.
Good fight. And Bradley's closing again.
And there's an all fainting. Bradley firing. First round was nearly even in CompuBox numbers. And because of the way the styles conspire. Bradley momentarily off. Hard left hook by Bradley. Knocks Alexander back into the ropes.
Devin Alexander, I thought, won round two with nice right jabs.
They call it. There's never any commitment on the punches. The trainers are meeting the punches halfway, slapping them back.
As was the case for Holyfield, of course, in the heavyweight division.
Yeah. So you have.
Walk Bradley down right away. So you know what this might turn into if he hits Bradley with one of those.
Up and under for Chavez.
Good
Both the
overhand
right and the left. Good body shots by Bradley there. Both guys digging hard to the body here in round two.
Oh, headbutt.
Shouldn't stay in there too long.
And that's where I think that headbutt just made him realize.
And their heads come together as second fighters, and ultimately Alexander couldn't continue.
Good jab.
Yeah, good jab.
That might have pissed him off a little bit.
Yeah, but Chavez has found something. He should stick with that rhythm jab. He should quit firing these huge right-hand shots he's been trying to land and stick with that jab and work it. Most of Chavez's power shot lands were in the last minute of the round. Bradley comes out aggressive in round three.
And hurt Chavez with a left hook.
Yes, he did.
Oh, good left hook by Bradley.
Yeah, it was.
He's targeting that left hook.
Reminds me of Evander Holyfield.
Come on, no.
His head, just like Evander used to do. That's why Evander was in headbutt fights all the time. When Bradley moves in, it causes a headbutt. Here's it made Bradley land him more clean shots.
Well, Bradley billed himself as a harder puncher than before coming in, saying he's worked hard in camp to develop more strength, hitting the heavy bag a lot, trying to develop greater punching power, and it certainly looks early on as though these shots have more impact than we've seen before.
Much more.
Bradley using his physical strength to push and keep Chavez on the ropes, and then deploying some of that newfound power.
What a busy round, 30 seconds to go, and they both landed more than 20 punches.
Oh, the walk-away right hand, the little Jersey Joe Walcott.
Looking back over the shoulder to see it land. Brilliant.
Beautiful long-range punches. Good shot right there. Good right hand. Yes. Good body shot. Good exchange.
That's a shot. And there's another good left hook to the body by Jesse Vargas.
Oh, good uppercut from Bradley.
Bradley landing the uppercut. May have found a new weapon to work with.
Bradley got a very unpopular one against Pacquiao, but seemed to be ripped off.
The watermark for hunger in my career. After what happened to me last year, I desperately need to win. I'm at the same level of hunger when I went to fight Junior Witter in England and I had 12.
Timothy Bradley, looked real good. I thought he was hurting Jesse Vargas. By the way, I've got a 2-1, 29-28.
Tim Bradley.
Good right hand from Vargas.
That's the kind of right hand I'm talking about.
Hard right hand again from Bradley. Right hand. Great body shots from Bradley on the inside. Ripping Vargas to the ribcage as Jesse extended his arm.
Well, that's a good fight.
Basically just faded away in the face of Bradley's competitive will.
He wore him down, both mentally and physically.
He's taken to just backing up. Look, he backs up and he gets nailed. Bradley's got much more balance, throwing harder shots, and he's got control of this fight.
Erik Morales training Jesse Vargas for just the last month.
I think for Erik Morales, who future Hall of Famer, great fighter, been in so many championship fights, so many wars. He wants to inject what he knows Vargas needs to do into him, but he can't. He's limited as a trainer. He can only give the instructions and hope that Jesse Vargas goes out there and executes.
Joel Diaz, who told him along about the 8th or 9th round, you're way ahead, you're winning the fight easy. Make sure of finishing the fight in good order. Less than 30 seconds to go. Hard right hand by Vargas. Wobbles Bradley.
Tim's out on his feet right now.
Yep, Tim is out on his feet. Better.
Not time to exchange. He needs to hold and get through these 10 seconds and hope he did enough to win this fight.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
Unbelievable.
It's a Rocky movie. That was Rocky.
Wow.
What a spectacular fight.